Good evening and welcome to our show. Tonight, dear listeners, I am so sorry to say, but there has been a minor hitch in our setup. You see, we have discovered a traitor within our midst. One could even say a stalker working for the devious, morally strapping, genuinely passionate towards the well-being of their community, speak as one, the greatest villain of them all. And ultimately, there was only one thing that we could do when we discovered this deep-set betrayal. We tied xaviul to a chair, we closed our eyes, and we spoke to In Her Teeth.
Are you sure you know how to tie a double knot? I saw her skulking around earlier.
Don't worry about the double knots or triple knots or whatever the fuck. In Her Teeth called her divorce lawyers, and it was agreed she gets full custody. It's fine. Everything's fine. My name is Lavanya.
And I'm Astro. This is a Blackout Club show for Blackout Club players with minimal speculation, all lore, and a focus on the known facts. Our topic of the day is In Her Teeth and SEED-THE-GRUDGE.
And for spoiler warnings, as always, the Dreaming Prophet is not spoiler-free. We will be discussing every aspect of In Her Teeth and SEED-THE-GRUDGE, and we will be fucking deep diving. In terms of content warnings, as one can expect, given that In Her Teeth is our loving death goddess, we are dealing with death. SEED-THE-GRUDGE, we're still dealing with death, but there's not anything very loving with her at all.
And today we have a guest with us.
Hello, I am an unstoppable heart. I am a resident death cultist.
If you're the resident death cultist, can I introduce you to the idea of a new, different cult? A life cult? A cult all about living forever?
Well,
I had to try. Think about it. So in this episode, we're going to start off with the biggest, baddest death goddess of all, In Her Teeth. Here are some of the basic facts that we know about her.
So among the daemons, the voices of the Blackout Club, she represents death. She says that she is connected to the void, the end. Many of her followers and chosen have also seen her as representing longevity and living life to its fullest. She has been quoted saying,
quote, "My followers have come to embrace their inevitable demise, and by understanding that all must end, they know how to live. They have a clarity of purpose. They can live every day with the freedom of knowing that yes, it could be their last, but they will do with it as they should, as they please." End quote.
In Her Teeth's thing is that she claims that she gets everyone when they die. This isn't necessarily always true as far as we know, given that some people are apparently copied illegally and illegibly into the song, but she definitely puts forth that she gets pretty much everyone. In Her Teeth talks about herself semi-frequently and making sure that all these kids in Redacre know exactly what she stands for. She said that in regards to herself, she was, quote, "not your first mother, but she will be your last," end quote. She chose her own mask name, which may or may not be common. It is the End Mother. Gotta stay on theme.
her chosen have also caused her to adopt another nickname, such as Tooth Mama, and she has been revered by many cultures throughout the ages. A fact that she is brought up repeatedly in interactions with talking about the color white and how it is sacred to her, as well as her being represented often in music.
An important thing to keep in mind here, dear listeners, is that pride comes before the fall. And In Her Teeth is very proud.
As a result of her widespread worship, and perhaps simply because of a difference in ideology, some other gods refer to her as the death fetishist or cultist.
In Her Teeth's symbol is interesting because it's a circle with white triangle teeth that are facing inside of it. What does it mean? We have no fucking idea. Some theories are that it could be a lamprey fish. Don't Google that. It could be a black hole. You can Google that. Or else it could be a reference to Charybdis, which you should Google because that is a very cool myth.
I think it's pronounced Charybdis.
Greek is a mistake.
In daemonic history, In Her Teeth was the third-born daemon. The Idare split from the collective, establishing himself and Speak as one, and freeing humans from their pre-conscious collective.
In this new era, humanity was exposed to danger. When their physical bodies failed, their memories would start to die off with them, unless they were shared through oral tradition or books or whatever cavemen did, because they were no longer part of an unbreakable chain of hive mind extending all the way back to the conception. Honestly, one of the greatest tragedies of the Blackout Club. You can quote that.
Therefore, humans began to conceptualize death or an end to their memories, their traditions. And to make it easier and more comforting to think about, they visualized death as a mother.
Null said, quote, "In Her Teeth was created a long time ago and was vaguely End Mother in Japanese. Figuring out the Redeker version was a process, had to find a namespace she could occupy. Primitive people were grappling with the idea of death, struggling to understand it. Recently freed from Speak as One and realizing the continuity of this hard-won mind they suddenly had was on a terminal curve. So they sort of created a mental splice of mother, begin, and end, stop, imagining a mother to take you out of the world to make it less abjectly terrifying." End quote.
And now for some meta-knowledge. Inner Teeth is one of the few voices that lack the verb-first command names.
The other two are the Measure Cuts and the I Dare.
Nullspeak on the Discord has said this makes them iconoclast. Verb-first names are typically seen as more powerful. Hunt the strong, speak as one, laugh last. But by choosing a name that doesn't start with a verb, it limits their power on purpose.
Despite this, In Her Teeth is apparently very fucking powerful. When players began to worry about Inner Teeth being injured by the symbol in 922's attic, Null said,
Quote, "I almost gave too blunt an answer there. Suffice it to say, don't worry about the End Mother. Inside her, nothing grows." End quote.
which is a fascinating thing to say considering that Speak as One constantly refers to Redacre as a garden. If nothing grows inside of In Her Teeth, it almost makes sense that she's gained so many followers inside of the town. Because, like a pesticide, In Her Teeth believes that the daimons need to die. She says they're not truly alive until they can die, meaning that this is honestly a gift she is almost giving them. So she's trying to find a way to kill them, so they can truly experience life through death.
Inner Teeth also thinks that what Speak as One is doing is unnatural, presumably referring to the record of eternity in the song, which keeps people's memories and, as a consequence, themselves alive far past their time. She also may object to Speak as One using people's bodies without their explicit knowledge or consent, since she seems invested in making sure her followers know what they're signing up for.
Speak as One says that consent is a lie, but luckily your mother is here to teach you otherwise. In Her Teeth elaborates in a dream that, quote, "The latex, yes, the brooders take their bodies without their consent, so they wish to avoid forensic evidence on the sleepwalkers when they wake. They are cowards. I prefer my host very well aware of the fate that awaits them." End quote.
She and Laugh Last used to be married and share hosts. The Idare has discussed how humans sometimes laugh at their own death or danger.
Sometimes death can be a misfortune that onlookers laugh at, too, like in slapstick comedy, or, Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
Close enough.
Laugh Last said in a dream, quote, "Murder's a joke, kid. It's a lot funnier if you punch up. Bomb a third world village? Boring. That makes you the asshole. But, say, executing an aristocracy. Now we're talking. Imagine them looking out the window at the torches and pitchforks, trying to pick which outfit will look best without a head." He laughs. That's comedy. End quote.
During this time, Laugh Last had a public dream where he shared a glimpse into the strange and acerbic relationship between he and Inner Teeth.
Quote, "She's all about death, thinking about it before it happens, planning for it, forcing it on folks who don't even technically live, so they don't technically need to die, is all I'm saying." End quote.
However, as the game left early access, the divorce lawyers came out and they officially broke up. While Inner Teeth seems outwardly disinterested in Laugh Last as a concept, she will still, from time to time, visit his chosen and marked and try to sway them to her side instead, and vice versa.
In Her Teeth doesn't die for you, and the feeling seems mutual.
She has called him in interactions the reckless one.
Many daemons exploit host death as a way to spread their message. If someone dies for a cause, that cause can inspire others with great impact.
Inner Teeth disapproves of this greatly. She seems to stress acceptance of the end, not chasing it. So the natural conclusion is that she isn't fond of Die For You, since his whole MO is risking danger and death for a cause.
It makes sense if you look at it that way. And honestly, as we said before, Die For You seems a little uncomfortable with her too. After she rebuffed several offers to join the alliance, Die For You confided that he felt relieved that she had said no. That would have made for a pretty awkward dinner table if she had joined.
It probably wouldn't be the first awkward dinner table the voices have had. For a long time, Inner Teeth has resisted becoming part of the alliance with the Idare. Although the Idare professes that he wants to kill the demons in order to free humanity from them, Inner Teeth doesn't think he's telling the truth and that he won't follow through in the end.
She especially doesn't trust him because of the little fact the Idare invented the lie. He said so himself, and all of the daemons pretty regularly shoot the breeze by calling him every possible variant of a liar.
She also said, quote, "The Idare convinced many young people to meet the abyss before they had gotten to experience life properly. That is not something I condone," end quote.
However, the Idare respects her greatly and still believes the Alliance needs her, so he's asked many of her chosen to speak with her. Most recently, he has decided to offer up the secret of his fragmentation to her as a sign of his commitment to the plan.
She professes that she isn't afraid of Hunt the Strong. She says that he'll have to become much stronger before he can rival her. Quote, "I do not fear the Hunter. I respect him as he is dangerous, but he would have to grow far stronger in order to challenge me. I am old, and I am a great deal older and more powerful than you could imagine," end quote.
And of course, we can't talk about In Her Teeth without talking about SEED-THE-GRUDGE too. Here are some basic things we know about her. She is one of the most recently born gods as far as we know, and she split from In Her Teeth.
She is the demon of vengeance. If someone innocent has been wronged or harmed, she wants to avenge them.
In history, she was known as a weapon wielded by In Her Teeth. Some daemons still view her this way.
So SEED-THE-GRUDGE started off as In Her Teeth's agent. Agent is specifically a term that means an aspect of the daemon that gains or already has autonomy. We haven't actually seen too many examples of agents in the story before, so that's actually kind of neat. Hunt the Strong was initially an agent of Chase the Sun. The Idare and Speak as One both have what very well could be agents too, although they don't use the term. The Idare has his fragments, and Speak as One has their Watchers. Usually the formation of an agent, like most things with daemons, seems to be because the humans began recognizing them as an individual separate from their parent voice.
She's told the story of her own creation. Quote, "They prayed to Mother Death, saying, 'Strike down my foes,' and she nodded, whispering, 'Child, wait.' They thought, 'Surely now revenge will come,' but it never did. Just before they died, they realized she meant, 'Wait, all will die, in time.' Well, I was just the blade she held, but I listened to them, and, like them, I shall wait no longer," end quote.
For some meta-knowledge, SEED-THE-GRUDGE appeared at the dawn of 1.0. She introduced herself and encouraged people to pray to her by invoking her name in a prayer to Speak as One, because she wanted them to know she was there.
She also challenged players that if they wanted her on the sacrifice table, they should pray to the other gods and ask for their blessing to put her there. Many did. A whole shit ton of players did. And as a result, all players can now directly pray to SEED-THE-GRUDGE and sacrifice experience to her. It's a fascinating example of how players' actions can actually affect the narrative of the game.
One of the writers, Nullspeak, commented on Twitter after that update, quote, "Players prayed in-game and en masse with their own voices to elevate a former nemesis-like subordinate power to an actual voice. In TBC, that's like a major deity. She was like a concept who pitched herself very well. If they didn't bite, she'd have remained a minor/supporting," end quote.
In Redacre, after SEED-THE-GRUDGE appeared, many of the daemons were interested in her. The Measure Cuts thought she was intriguing and okayed her addition to the sacrifice table because he wanted to observe her. Laughlass said he thinks she's hot. What are his actual motivations? He won't tell.
Inner Teeth has repeatedly displayed a passive dislike for SEED-THE-GRUDGE's methodology, saying she would listen to what SEED-THE-GRUDGE said if she calmed down enough to say it. She's also repeatedly called SEED-THE-GRUDGE small and unwise. Aside from that, though, she doesn't seem to bear much ill will towards SEED-THE-GRUDGE at all.
Honestly, after millennia of dealing with Laugh-Lass, the nagging is probably just habitual. When speaking of the dove killing episodes around town, Inner Teeth said, quote, "Yes, the doves. Well, all I know is that the Grudge Keeper did not do it. SEED-THE-GRUDGE would never take the life of something that represents innocence." End quote.
SEED-THE-GRUDGE, however, has her own opinions of what's been going on in Redacre. When discussing Inner Teeth and Laugh-Lass, she said, quote, "Circling one another, blades bared and wrists bound, but neither truly plays for blood, because deep down they can't bear to strike the blow themselves." End quote.
The Idea and Die For You have, as ever, been looking to expand their pact, and so they spread their net wide and ended up reaching out to SEED-THE-GRUDGE too. SEED-THE-GRUDGE was understandably a little hesitant at first, mocking the Idea and his, air quotes, alliances. She believed that she worked best solo because, like with In Her Teeth, SEED-THE-GRUDGE is pretty fucking proud. She also stated that she didn't feel respected by the other daemons, which is a little bit of a hindrance. Who wants to go join up with all of your older siblings in a pact to kill your parents when everyone's always looking at you like you're the little kid?
Hush, child. The adult voices are talking.
Exactly. She probably figured they wouldn't even let her sit at the big table with the rest of them, but instead she'd be stuck at the kiddie table with the shape.
However, the Idea has suggested that she might be swayed if she was offered a position of leadership in the Alliance. At this time of recording, she hasn't made an official announcement, but her tune has changed. She seems to be strongly considering it.
Not that the pact is ever growing, unfortunately. Speak as One has deemed it worth their time to chime in on this offer. They stated that, quote, "It is akin to the crew of a sea vessel giving the captain title to a cannon," end quote. I guess we're just gonna have to worry that the cannon doesn't backfire and kill them all in a fire explosion. Hopefully they got a warranty on this cannon, or else, man, they might have some buyer's regrets.
No matter what happens, though, it is clear that she is no fan of Hunt the Strong and is very keen on taking him down. She's also displayed displeasure at the relative inactivity of the other voices in dealing with this threat. She has said, quote, "A lot of my siblings like to sit idly by. I say that this is useless," end quote.
Question has released new DLC packs. Choose a god and put on their shirt, jacket, or decorate your boxcar to show off your choice. Each one costs $4.99, and that money goes to support the team. We now have a website and links to all of our guides and resources on it. This includes the newbie guide, the Lorepedia, the player terms lexicon, and more. You can find that at tinyurl.com/thedreamingprophet. Cal, Archer's Valiant's Gugulium, has made a lore master doc. This is updated every Monday or so with all of the latest lore with the help of the Dreaming Prophet, mostly Lavanya because they're amazing. You can find that at tinyurl.com/tbcloreguidev2. And as always, there is an official interaction archive on the Discord. This archives both God Talks and personal dreams. If you have transcripts or videos, please add them to the archive. There is also an option to allow your encounter to be used to support the wiki, which is heavily encouraged. Join the Discord to get involved at discord.gg/theblackoutclub. The Blackout Club is made by Question Games. Our transcript and assets are made by Lavanya. Audio editing and video is done by me, Astro. Our publicity is Spoderman. Xaviul took the cookie from the cookie jar.